Bites. If you only knew the things that went on right before we hit record. So, Bhadra Pranim. I've mentioned it 3 times now. I'm drilling it home because we want to get at least one person to sponsor a set of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhadra Pranim is on Sunday, and you've got a couple of days before the auspicious occasion of Bhadra Purnima, where it is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam that if you sponsor a Bhagavatam set, give it as a gift on this auspicious occasion, then you'll actually become free from all sufferings and misery. So there you go. So what more encouragement do you need? But nevertheless, here we are because our goal ultimately is to read the Bhagavatam. So we're trying to read Bhagavatam.
All right.
All right.
It's Canto 4, Chapter 26, Text 7.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 7. Narada Muni continued to speak to King Prachini Bahishat. My dear king, any person who works according to the directions of the Vedic scriptures does not become involved in fruitive activities. Purport. Just as a government may issue trade licenses in order for its citizens to act in a certain way, the Vedas contain injunctions that restrain and regulate all of our fruitive activities. All living entities have come into this material world to enjoy themselves. Consequently, the Vedas are given to regulate sense enjoyment. One who enjoys his senses under the Vedic regulative principles does not become entangled in the actions and reactions of his activities. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 3, Text 9, Yagya Nat Kamana. One should act only for the performance of yagya or to satisfy Lord Vishnu. Anyatra lokayam karma bandhana. Otherwise, any action will produce a reaction by which the living entity will be bound. A human being is especially meant to attain liberation from the bondage of birth, death, old age, and disease. He is therefore directed by the Vedic regulative principles to work in such a way that he may fulfill his desires for sense gratification, and at the same time gradually become freed from material bondage. Action according to such principles is called knowledge. Indeed, the word Veda means knowledge. The words Jnanena na salipyati indicate that by following the Vedic principles, one does not become involved in the actions and reactions of his fruitive activities. And I like that point, that just as the government may issue trade licenses in order for its citizens to act in a certain way, the Vedas also contain injunctions that restrain and regulate our fruitive activities or enjoyment. It's like that point I was making in one of the previous vlogs, like when my dad used to go to Gujarat, and he don't drink, but he used to get a liquor license. So it's like people in that area could have liquor. You had to have the permission and get a certain amount or whatever, and then you could have it. It's like and enjoy, but with permission you can enjoy. And if you didn't have it, you're gonna, I guess they arrest you or something.
You mean if you didn't have the license?
License, to enjoy. So
well, I guess it's like, at least here in England, it's a little bit different, but here in the States, it's you have to be 21 to legally drink. And they card you, it's called carding when you go to a bar or a liquor store and you try to buy it. They're like, I need to see your ID, please. Where's your card? And then, so you have to be 21, theoretically, in order to buy, purchase, drink, consume it. And if you get caught at 18, 19, 20 drinking, you'd be fined or charged drinking underage. So like that. So it's like that. You're saying you have to have a certain license. You have to be, not qualified, but
Well, it is that, isn't it?
theoretically, they're saying. I guess they're saying that by the age of 21, you should be mature enough to know how much to drink and when to stop. But it doesn't seem to work like that.
Well, it doesn't make any sense, because when you're 18, you can vote who's going to run this glorious country.
Yeah.
And you can bring another child into the world many times before you actually get a license to drink alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me that's messed up without telling me that's messed up.
That is messed up, but I mean, it's not messed up.
This is why we've got to read the Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, it's like that. So people look at so-called, oh, you're religious or you're this. And then I know, especially when I was taking to like becoming serious about reading Prabhupada's books and following, and it's like certain people who are family members, cousins, were averse because they think, oh, she's going to be boring now. Not that I did anything crazy before, but she's boring now. Or she don't do this or don't do that. And it's interesting, like, because they think you're restricted. Does that make sense? It's like, you won't do this, or we can't eat this, or we can't watch that, or we can't, because you're restricted. But actually, it's almost like your senses are awakened and working in the way that doesn't make me feel frustrated, because when I'm in the other way, I am aware of my frustration, my restriction, which makes me frustrated.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting whatever,
Conundrum. You just reminded me of this. I remember once a person. When I was distributing books, and I explained what we do and what we don't do, certain things that we follow, and he said, "Wow, you guys really don't have much freedom, do you?" And I remembered how Prabhupada said that they're called the regulative principles of freedom. And I said, no, we're actually free to decide and choose to conduct ourselves in a certain way. And I think he had mentioned something like, oh, I couldn't go a day without eating meat or drinking beer or having sex or something like that. And I said, yeah, so who's actually free? You're the one who's controlled. You're the one who's bound. And it reminds me of that quote from Srila Prabhupada, the famous one from the Happening album, where he says that we are, the more that we struggle, the more we become entangled in the material energy's complexities. And we may think that we're actually controlling the material energy, but actually we're becoming more and more dependent upon her. So we might think that I'm becoming the controller and I'm enjoying, but actually we're becoming more and more addicted to sense gratification in varieties of ways. Nowadays it's like the TV, the phone, we're just scrolling, looking, we're just addicted to these things, and the material energy is just pulling us deeper and deeper in, so like that. Last paragraph, right? Text 7. Everyone is therefore advised to act in terms of the Vedic injunctions and not irresponsibly. When a person within a state acts according to the laws and licenses of the government, he does not become involved in criminal activities. Yeah, I guess so. I was just thinking that there are so many people in government roles or professional roles who are just crooks, basically. Man-made laws, however, are always defective because they are made by men who are prone to committing mistakes, being illusioned, cheating, and having imperfect senses. The Vedic instructions are different because they do not have these 4 defects. Vedic instructions are not subject to mistakes. The knowledge of the Vedas is knowledge received directly from God. and there is consequently no question of illusion, cheating, mistakes, or imperfect senses. All Vedic knowledge is perfect because it is received directly from God by the Parampara disciplic succession. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1, it is said, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. The original creature of this universe, known as the Adi Kavi, or Lord Brahma, was instructed by Krishna through the heart. After receiving these Vedic instructions from Lord Krishna himself, Brahma distributed the knowledge by the Parampara system to Narada, and Narada in turn distributed the knowledge to Vyas. In this way, Vedic knowledge is perfect. If we act according to Vedic knowledge, there is no question of being involved in sinful activities. Whew. That is so powerful. And of course, I can't help but, thinking as I'm reading it, of course, that Prabhupada is talking about Vedic instructions. Now, of course, we also understand that after Srila Vyasadeva compiled the Vedas, he still wasn't happy. He still wasn't happy. And he compiled the Mahabharata, he compiled the Vedanta Sutra, and he still wasn't happy. And he went to Narada Muni, his spiritual master, and he said, I don't get it. I've done all this hard effort, all this work to give these Vedic truths, but I am still not feeling satiated and satisfied. And Narada Muni explained, that is because you have not extolled the glories of Lord Krishna. So you will only become completely satisfied, completely satisfies the self when we absorb ourselves in extolling the glories of the Lord. So these are Vedic truths coming from the pure platform, but they are also in gradations of practice and understanding. So what is it Prabhupada says, one purport, I think in Bhagavad Gita, that the Vedic maxim is that the stool of an animal is considered filthy and dirty, and you shouldn't touch it, and if you do, you have to take a bath. But Prabhupada says, but the Vedic injunction is that the stool of a cow is 100% pure. So that statement is true. Now, I know I speak to people who are farmers, who have cows, and you tell them that cow poo is pure, and they're like, right. They have no idea, and they deal with cows for generations and so many things. But actually, if you look at it scientifically, cow dung has 100%, what is it called, 100%? Antiseptic properties. So it's actually completely pure in that sense. So Prabhupada makes reference to that. That is a Vedic injunction. Means it's not come from a place of, it's not come from a place of man-made, materialistic mentality, but it's actually come specifically from the Vedic text, and in that way, it is a pure presentation of the absolute truth. It's not some adulterated thing, prone to cheating, prone to faulty senses, or prone to, what are the 4 defects? One has a tendency to, be illusioned, to make mistakes, to have faulty senses, and to cheat like that. If you know the
and
word.
loss of memory is also Kali Yuga.
Loss of memory is Kali. Apurushaya, that's it. Apurushaya means not a normal person. It's not like from normal man-made. It's coming from a higher level.
All right.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right.
I think we'll stop because the next purport is like long.
Is it? Oh, look at that. Yeah, 4 or 5 pages.
So we'll pace ourselves.
All right, thank you all very much. Have a beautiful weekend. All glories to the Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam. Don't forget to sponsor Bhagavatam set. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare